Before your trading week begins, it's crucial to remind yourself that you are not expected to be in every possible trade idea or price swing. Do not let me trick you into thinking that you're going to be out there like an ace, going from one thing to the next, like Spider-Man swinging from high to low, high to low. That's not what this account's designed for. You're giving yourself permission to let most of the moves pass you by over the trading week. I know that seems, well, counterproductive, but this is an income approach. It's not a get rich quick. It's not a get wealthy. It's not a competition approach. It's a boring, give me my ends. And you're trying to build it up with that approach. And eventually this account would be targeting your entire monthly ends. But right now we're focusing on $1,000 each month. You're being patient and you're waiting for the proper setup that affords you a 4-point stop loss and a 5.25 point yield in profit on a single contract of E-mini S&P. That's the focus, folks. You're not expected to do more than that. That's not an Olympic feat. I've given you the ways to select a trade that has a 4-point stop loss and how to frame it. You might not get filled if it's a larger than a 5-point fair value gap from high to low. If it's larger than that and you try to use the consequent encroachment, you might not get filled. And it might run off without you. Let it go. Prepare yourself to anticipate setups, yes, but they may not allow or afford you an entry. There's nothing wrong with it. This stuff repeats all the time, every single day. Every single day I'm sitting on Twitter and I'm showing you something. Buttons are getting pushed. So let that be an encouragement to you. That's why I say every week, every day, and it won't stop. Just because you're not in my setup doesn't mean that you are failing. It doesn't mean you're missing out on anything. It just means that you are looking for your choice setup. If it does not offer it to you, you are not to be upset. You are not to fear missing a setup or price run. You're focusing on a single 5.25 point trade for the week to make $250, one time per week. Don't fear missing the week's yield. You may find 2 the following week. If the previous week did not allow for a low risk setup, in other words, say you didn't take anything, couldn't get in, couldn't get positioned, you close the week with no trades. You're permitted to look for a second setup the following week if it's in a medium or high impact news driver, and all things being equal, as I mentioned in this lecture. You can take 2 trades that week, but once you get the second trade, you stop. So I covered a lot of rules, boring rules, no charts, no scribbling, no rectangles, no Fibonacci. But I gave you the brass tacks here, folks. This is what it's like when you understand what you're looking for. Everything that I've outlined and discussed in here, the binge watchers, this is going to be a thumbs down candidate video. I understand, but it doesn't change the fact that you got to go through this the right way. And having the understanding of back testing, understanding what you're looking for, and then tape reading, watching it form live, whether it be live when it is booking price, real time, or using something like a market replay to study price as it's delivering hindsight moves. Those ideas of seeing that and then demoing it for 6 months. Then you go into something like this. If you decide on your own that you're going to approach the market with live funds, you make that decision. I don't tell you when to do that. But I believe this is a very sober approach. It's not expecting you to do superhuman things. It's very reasonable. It's rule-based. It's principle-oriented. It's not expecting you to do a lot of acrobatics each week. You're looking for one easy little setup. 5.25 points, 4-point stop loss. I even told you how to frame a setup and discern whether or not the fair value gap should be used or not. I gave you rules in determining, is this a viable setup based on the fair value gap? All the rules are here, folks. There's nothing missing. Nothing. It's a steady Eddie, simple little mule of a model. That means it's going to carry the load if you do things properly. But if you abuse it and try to put more on its back, it's going to get you in trouble and it's going to leave you stranded. So you don't want that. Low-hanging fruit. Low frequency. This is not high frequency trading. This is low frequency. Like that? Low. Not as deep as the Oak Ridge Boys, right? Some of you are like, Oak Ridge Boys? What the hell is he talking about? Long story, different topic. Hopefully you found this one insightful. Hope you enjoyed this series. I think that out of all the lectures I've given, I like this one the most because it makes things practical. And you might not agree, and I understand, okay? You all basically want to see the high impact, high act.
So, in this video, I'll be talking about the video that we just watched, the trade execution I just took, and I'll be explaining details about it and some questions people have been asking from me. So, let's get straight into it. So, there was a question a guy asked me that, do I need a buy side liquidity or sell side liquidity to be taken before I actually execute on the trade? First of all, most times I don't need it. It's actually based on higher time frame fair value gap. That's what I actually trade on. I actually feel more safe or feel comfortable when trading higher time frame like 1 hour, 4 hour, 30 minutes and co. When I'm trading daily fair value gap. So in one way or the other, it's still based on sell side liquidity or buy side liquidity. That is, liquidity has to be taken on lower time frame. So let me give you an example of the two trades I took on Thursday. So this is exactly what there was a trade setup I actually, this template, I mean the ICT template I actually shared, and you can check it out on my YouTube channel where I was showing trade execution, and I had a lot of questions that was thrown at me from that video though. So before we get straight to it, I will need your help with like the only reason why I've not been creating videos or been dropping more videos because I have a lot of videos I've recorded, and the reason why I've not been dropping them is because I feel some kind of way. Like there was a video I dropped, one of the first few videos I dropped, and there was a comment a guy was saying I sound like I'm speaking Chinese. So I want to know if you guys can really, because this release, you can see today's Thursday, and I actually took this trade and recorded it since today's Saturday. I have recorded this video since Thursday. So it took a lot of decision and a lot of time for me to say, okay, let me just make this video. At least let me just hear from what people will say. So they said I was speaking Chinese or some. So it's kind of funny to me though. But I just want to know, like, can you really actually hear me more so I can know on where to improve more on my videos when making my videos, and probably I have to increase the volume or I have to like try to speak clearly so people can hear me. But with that being said, let's get straight into the video. So basically, as I was saying, I said I prefer to use the higher time frame fair value gap, right? So this is, so we actually bullish on the daily. That is, we are being bullish on the daily, which is from monthly. But I'm thinking about actually every weekend I'm dropping in videos like weekly review and the next week outlook for forex, commodity and stock index, which is Nasdaq, S&P and US 30. I'm thinking of making videos on them like every weekend. I should post it. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if you want it from me every weekend. So you can see the word fair value gap, the bullish order block. You can see there's a lot of things, but that's not actually what I want to talk about in this video though. But let's get straight to what I actually want to talk about in this video. So I actually use this fair value gap. So I've been bullish on the daily. So you can see this fair value gap high, right? And this is low. And whenever I'm charting out my chart, I don't really bring it them. I don't draw this low because I know the market is not really going there. So like just a kind of something of psychology stuff to me. Now let's go to 15-minute time frame. Hopefully you are going to be able to understand what I'm trying to see. Now you can see I'm basing what I'm doing based on what? On this low, right? Now there's another fair value gap there. To me, you might not actually really get what I'm like the way I'm seeing it. Just like the way I'm picturing it by myself in my brain, like just some kind of way I see it myself in my brain. Like this fair value gap, this was a 30-minute fair value gap, but we had another 15-minute fair value gap here. I will draw it out also. That doesn't mean I'm dismissing the fair value gap that we have on the 30 minutes. Now what's resting above these highs, you can see relative equal highs is what. I really appreciate your comment and about my voice, because I actually had a video I have made on daily buy highs and about liquidity and how I was able to get my daily buy highs. That is how I was able to determine daily buy highs by myself by studying ICT content, and how I was able to determine okay where liquidity and stuff like that. Doesn't mean I'm 100% sure, but most of the times I'm always knowing where it's going to. I might not just be able to execute well, which is another problem, which I had another video I actually made on that too. So this is buy side liquidity, that is their word buy stuff resting above this high, right? Now, this was I don't take trades before 2 a.m. I only take trades before 2 a.m. Now, I didn't take this first setup in the morning, but I'm trying to explain it. I didn't take it. I was not around. I actually went to do something, so I was not there. So coming back, I was like, oh, something has really happened. So let's go to the 5 minute time frame. We are going to be using the 2022. My execution is always based on the 2022 setup, right? That was given to us by ICT. Now, when I say I use sell liquidity, buy side liquidity, when someone asks me that must it be taken before I execute, like I said, I use fair value gap most of the time. But at the same time too, when you come down to the lower time frame, there are always sell side that is being taken. Now let's look at this fair value gap from 15 minute and 30 minute, or the 15 minute time frame and 30 minute time frame, right? But now look at this. What's resting below this low is what? Sell side liquidity. So I still look at it in one way or the other, that is sell side is being taken or buy side is taken in one side of the market. So to me, I don't really base it, because most of what I'm just looking for, I really like fair value gap. Like that's what I actually do. I really don't need this load to be taken before I actually can execute. And let us get straight into it though. Now, what can we see? What is this? Fair value gap. The low, right? Displacement was high. Can you see what? Break market structure and retracement into what? Into the fair value gap. I was not on the chart to actually take this trade though. I was not there at all. This was actually the one I actually took. Now we'll explain the mistake I actually made. I made it twice, repeatedly. And see how the market went up towards to take the sell side during the what? Midnight and what? New York high that was created yesterday. The buy side that was created. You can see how they actually took it. This thing is like working based on algorithm. Like I still wonder why people still don't believe this thing is. But it's funny that it actually takes time, because it took me like a year or so before I actually believe, because I can just see it repeating several times. So it actually takes time. So this is the retracement into the fair value gap, that is sell side liquidity being taken, fair value gap from 30 minute and 15 minute time frame. Like it's just very simple setup. Very, very, very simple. Wait for what? Break market structure, good to what? Energetic, not what? Not slow. You can see how energetic it was. We wait for what? Retracement into the fair value gap, then what? Set our limit order to what? Can you see? Let's check this eye. Eye of this other block is what? 727.7. What's the low? 728. So okay, so it didn't get it, but it actually used this fair value gap. I actually don't use other block, like I said. I just prefer fair value gap. Like that's basically what I'm trying to use. So I actually missed this trade. Now this was the one I actually took. Now, when I started studying ICT content, there was something I was battling with for a very long time, which was, yes, ICT actually gave us a concept that is this. But when I got to the chart, I was seeing more by myself. But I was actually applying what he actually taught us. That is sell side liquidity, like everything in concept, but I was twisting it to my own way, the way I understand. Now, there's something, this one I actually call it, London protraction, or I call it London fair value gap. That's the name I actually like to call it in my home journal. I'm not trying to rename it, but that's what I just used to call it in my journal. But this one I call it London continuation. That is after a long protraction, that is long market has moved in a direction and they retrace, they will come back to take what they sell side liquidity and run into a fair value gap. Then what? As continuation. But I was expecting, okay, definitely they have to come down low because we still have more fair value gap. So I'm expecting something like that. So I actually took a trade here, which I didn't have the recording though. Now I'm going to show what I actually use based on it and what I was actually looking for before I actually took the trade. Let me remove this. I hope this video won't be a very long one. You can see what order block. What it is, a bullish order block. Breaking market structure, retracement into it. What's inside this space? Imbalance, right? Let's go to the 5 minutes time frame. That is after moving to, that is after an expansion into a direction, either up or downside, then we have a mentorship as entry. That's what I actually use. Now you can see this was the swing high, right? That is the short term high. They didn't take it with this first movement expansion up, right? But they did what? Came down and did what? Went up. Let me just draw out this fair value gap, so I won't have to come back. Okay, thank you. Now let's go to 1 minute. So let's get to the 1 minute. So this is actually what I'm trying to say. You can see this swinger was not taken, right? You can see this is the most clearest one. So we are, what's the model for 2022 is what? The break market structure, retracement into the fair value after a buy side or sell side liquidity has been taken, right? But with time I now study something. I twist that 2022 model, that is the entry, right? I twist it. That is, I called it ICT Regalo. So I called that. That's what I actually, Italian word, which is like a Christmas gift or something. That's just me. I just like to have some things my way. And I actually called the next one, which I actually twisted also. I like to call it two body one line. What do I mean by two body? That is, we actually, they didn't take the break. We didn't have a break in market structure, but we had what? One retracement into the fair value gap and what other block, which is the what two body, like two break market structure before taking the low or the high that I want them to take, which will actually lead to the market structure. You can see the first one, then we had the make break. So the second one I will be using as entry before they actually do this high, right? I don't know if you get it. Like, it's just something I actually just put, just a name I actually come up with. Sometimes I even name some setup according to people I actually have around me. I'm like, okay. There was one I actually named One Power. It was a lady I met, but that's another story for another day. So I can just name it, but I'm still using ICT concept. I'm just putting them in a way I can easily remember whenever I see them occurring. You can see it was immediately it dropped down into the fair value guide, did what? Did execute, and I did what? Now, you can be like, wow, that was so lucky. Personally, me too, I saw it as being lucky, but I didn't see it as being lucky because I was actually using, sorry, I was actually using the ends meet, the approach from ends meet. That's what I'm actually using to actually trade it. I didn't know it was this way I actually used that. No, it wasn't that low. It was this one. So that is, we are trying to meet ends. You understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not trying to look for, because on the norms, if I was to trade, I would have actually hold the trade for it to come to this end. Like, to be very, to be very frank, that's what I was telling you about. My perspective my perspective I'm using to trade that day on Thursday was just because I need to meet ends. So I'm trying to meet end. So I'm not trying to look for 1 to 2. I actually have a target, and once I meet target, that's what I want. So the target was exactly 1 to 1.3 return or something like that. That's actually what I want according to calculation and what was being taught in the ends meet. So that was the first trade I actually took. So you can see the break market. So you just have to make sure whatever it is teaching. I'm sorry if I'm jumping from one place to another. You have to make sure you are picking it and you're applying it to your own side. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. So since there are several times I was like, this break market structure, we didn't really have it now. But I don't really like to use this kind of low, this kind of high. This is what I actually can see as break market. So okay, what happened? Okay, we had the first one and retracement, right? Then the second one took this short time high. So I was like, okay, let's call this one two body, 1 9 entry. That's what I actually call it. But it's still ICT concept. Understand? Just me just putting it in a way I actually understand it. I hope all these YouTubers won't come and say ICT student actually rename the stuff or stuff like that. I am making it very clear now, and I'm not trying to be mean. I just really just don't. I hope you actually understand what I'm trying to say. So let's go to the next setup I actually took, which I can actually call that to probably lock. Let's see. So let's go back to 30-minute time frame. Sometimes there's lock in trading, you should say. Maybe. I'll draw out the fair value gap. Can you see what's resting below this London's low is what? Sell side liquidity. What's resting below this low is what? Sell side liquidity. But inside what? I'm really not based on that sell side liquidity or the buy side liquidity. What I'm just like, I just need that imbalance. I want them to come into the gap. You can see they came into the fair value gap. Let's go into 15-minute time frame. This one was actually shown in the video execution I was making though. I hope this video is not too long. Hopefully you are still listening to this part though. And I hope I'm not too boring. I'm still trying to learn. Very soon, probably in the next few years, I might be the biggest YouTuber. Who knows? I believe I can do. If I say I can do, definitely I can do. Those are the things I used to use. Like I used to have at the back of my mind. You can see we had a what this fair value gap on the 15 minutes. That's what I actually project out again. You can see how they came into this fair value gap. Let's go to 5 minutes. 7 o'clock. Let me set this to 7 o'clock. I'm tired of what's going on. So you can see we had what the break. You can see the first one didn't take this short time right. Also right, this short time high. You can see we had it. Another one now. Is this example of what two body entry? Can you see? Actually, like I just didn't want to hesitate once I see the setup. I won't just hesitate because I've seen it repeat itself, and it doesn't mean it doesn't feel. Or even on the norms, this NFP week is supposed to feel this. Like I was even ready for it. That's why I made the explanation that I was even ready for the loss. And to me, it was like I was just in the because it was demo, so that's why I was like, okay, let me just leave it like that. On the real, I was not taking anything on my real account. We had a what? Fair value gap. What am I talking about? Things I'm not supposed to talk about. Please let me know in the comment section what you think about this video. I really appreciate it. Both the trolls and people that really want to learn and stuff like that. This was what? Order block. Can you see the bullish order block? I was supposed to use the editing, but I don't really know how to use the editing yet. They didn't take the short time high, right? We had the first one, two body. I also call this one was two body. So it's a liquidity taking, but the short time high wasn't taking. We just went into the fair imbalance, right? Run up, what again? Break market structure. The break my short time high also, which is break market structure, and the just spot. And so I actually took the trade immediately, and it was what I was also waiting for what not 1 to 1,000 or so. I was looking for. I actually used this low here this time. I remember. I was looking for 1 to 3. Yes, I remember. Yes, that was actually what I was looking for. And I was managing my stop loss because of the volatility that I actually came into the market, and I wasn't expecting them to come down to this low anymore. So that was why I was actually. So if it was not for this volatility that was injected, definitely I would have actually been stopped out from the trade. So I can say at some point, once you know what you are doing, at some point you still need a little bit of luck probably in trading. Because I just like I was actually ready to take the loss. Like I have that back of my mind because I know it repeats every time. Like it's even happened on yesterday because it's Saturday right now. Yes, during London here there was a setup I actually see here. I don't know why I have a problem when it comes to Forex. I can't perform on this lower time frame, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes on Forex. When it comes to Forex, but when it comes to commodity, I can. And when it comes to stock index market too, futures, I can do it too. I just don't know why. So definitely be having that kind of feeling, because there was a time I was actually struggling with why everyone is trading Forex. I'm finding it difficult. ICT is talking about talking this. Am I not the only student that will be different from everyone else? But it's got support. I was like, okay, if this is what I can do, then definitely I should just keep on doing it. And that's just it. So hopefully you find this insightful, like my mentor will see. And then if you have anything you want to say, or you have, let me know in the comment section. I really, really, really appreciate it. Really, really, really appreciate it. And thank you for watching. God bless you. I have more videos coming soon. My last video, we had over 500. Yes, I think I had over 500 likes. So let's see how many likes we can get at this time. Let's see. Let's aim for 250 this time. 250 likes. Hit the like button, comment, and I will share if you really appreciate it and find it more helpful. God bless. See you later.